And then that's when I said, that's not Shaquille O'Neal, that's my penis. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ask Jawson. This is...
Oh my God.
Welcome.
I'll take over from here, Josh.
Please.
And then I said, that's not Shaquille O'Neal.
That's Josh's penis.
That's Josh's. Welcome to the Ask Jawson podcast. Josh, thank you so much for that wonderful intro. My name is Dawson, joined with my co-host who cannot breathe right now, Josh. And we are joined by a very special guest today. We are joined by the one and only Brian Wolverton. Brian, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
That was the most you're just like, hey, what's up? I'm like,
I literally just talked about my penis, and you're like, yeah, I'm good.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, is there anything else you want to tell us, Brian? Who are you? How do you know us? How do we know you?
Yeah, I am somehow friends with you guys, and I have been for quite some time. Don't know why I decided on that one. But
what do you mean? Why did you? I think we're all. I don't think any of us decided.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's be honest. We're all sitting here in this pile of friends we have, and we're all just accepting it.
Yeah.
It's a mutual acceptance of like, oh, I guess we're not getting rid of each other. Yeah.
These guys could tolerate me. I could tolerate them.
Let's make
That's
it work.
literally what friendship is. Being able to tolerate another person long enough.
It's like, do you really like them? You're like, no, I hate them, but they're my best friends.
No. Bunch of assholes. But they're good people. What?
Oh man,
that's my friends.
That was awesome. That was perfect. Well,
yeah, we've known each other. I've known Brian since the 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then Dawson I've known Dawson since I was in 10th and you were 9th.
Yeah.
I met Dawson around the same time I met you, actually.
Oh, man, I'll never forget.
Not even from 4-H either. I knew his.
Yeah, so we all know each other through 4-H, to clarify.
Yeah.
Man, I'll never forget the day that I met Brian, or really met Brian. It was in typical Brian fashion, we were in school and he was wearing a banana suit.
Banana costume.
A banana costume. And I was like, this kid might actually be insane. I was like, he could either be like,
he's either going to kill everyone in the school or he's going to be super chill.
And it was a gamble at that point. I was just like,
you rolled the dice on that friendship.
I'll go with it.
Wow. Oh, man.
And it turns out he's both of them.
It's a yes.
Yeah. No, but seriously, it was a wild time, and
I can't even remember that. Yeah. I remember meeting you coming up to our lunch table because I was friends with your older brother, and the impression I had of you was just like, who is this wacky fucking batshit kid? He's just funny. Like, he's just like all over the place. Like,
I will say in 8th grade I was extremely I was very spazzy. Cracked out. Yeah, I was like shaky and everything. And I think everyone thought I might have been. I might have been the school killer actually.
Oh, was that the summer of 2012? Yeah. Okay, that explains it. That was that summer.
Oh, okay, that's why I was all shaky. But well, I do want to say for housekeeping today, we don't really have any things to catch up on from last week, but I do want to. There's something very special I want to show you. Brian, you've been working on this table, and I want to show our audience this table. It is one of the coolest things.
I didn't do much. I just took a bunch of stickers and put them on a table because I thought it'd look cool.
For the listeners at home.
Oh, that's right. I forgot listeners. So, Josh, how would you describe this table?
It's a table with Pokemon stickers all over of the different generations of Pokemon that have been very artistically placed.
Artistically.
Yeah, it was like a puzzle. I was just like, I guess that one kind of fits there.
Trying not to make them overlap.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them overlap or whatever, but
as long as you can still recognize the Pokemon, then it's all
that's the main part. I just kind of was just like, throw as many as I can on here.
And there are stuffed animals on the table as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is
There's a couple I got Sarah not too long ago.
Yeah. And we all have our drinks with us tonight. This is Josh just is drinking the whole bottle of wine. I've got my beer here, and Brian
it's needs a refill.
Now, Dawson, would you like to talk about that piece behind you?
Yeah. So basically, I've been working on this one for a while. We call him Francis. And you know, I just started painting him probably a couple of weeks ago back when I was, first started getting into art, and
wow,
he's been with us ever since.
Beautiful.
He watches over me as I sleep.
It looks just white. Like just color.
It's a Pope.
Yeah, no, it's a couple different colors.
Man.
It's actually I think it's a monk. I don't know. I just let my hands do the work, I just let my hands do the work.
Yeah, is he bald? That's the real question.
No, he's got hair. He is probably the ugliest man I've ever seen.
But he's a homie.
He's a homie. He watches me while I sleep and comforts me and touches me.
Hey, listen, you haven't gotten mugged in the middle of the night, have you? Thank Francis right now.
Turn around and thank him.
Thanks. He said you're welcome.
I mean, I didn't hear it.
No, I heard him. But
he only mumbles.
Also, I just want to say that the heat in my house right now, for some reason, just started going ham, and I am like, my pits are soaking wet, and I don't want to get up in the middle of this and turn it down. So,
my room is always hot, so every podcast I'm just schwitzing.
It's not hot in there. He's just sweaty all the time. I'm just gonna let you in on something.
Natural state.
Yeah, it's like 60 degrees in here. I'm like moist. Just drenched. My pits. You know that feeling when you're running around a lot and your skin starts to like glide off of it. Like I don't know how to explain it. Just like
my skin glides off of my body.
I was with you, and then you lost me.
No, like
you used
like you're running, and your skin is just like it's like very moist from the sweat. They're very wet, and so it's just like your skin's just like very lubricated.
You're just not.
Well, that's it for housekeeping today.
Yeah, housekeeping is done. So the topic. Does that fidget spinner have a design on it, or is it just like a white plain fidget spinner?
Just as pulling it. I don't know what that is.
Pearlescent?
Isn't that like prednisone or something?
Is it perganinate?
Am I perganinate?
Am I perganinate? That's one of the best videos ever. I love it. Yeah. Always makes me laugh.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
So the topic for this podcast this week is not only are we all friends in 4-H and that's how we met, but we discovered a couple years into our friendship that we all were involved in Boy Scouts at one point. So me and Brian, we made it to Eagle Scout, which for those of you that don't know, Eagle Scout is the highest rank you can get. Dawson, why are you looking at me like that?
Nothing.
Let me get through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
He knows what's coming.
Eagle Scout is the highest rank you could possibly get. It takes a lot of effort to get there, and a lot of like presidents and astronauts and like big people are Eagle Scouts. And then look at us.
Yeah.
And then I had to roast us because then Dawson.
You had to bring yourself down a notch.
Yeah, bring us down a notch. Dawson, how far did you make it? Now, let me just say, just being in Boy Scouts and like making any ranks is quite a feat. It's not. I'm not actually trying to undermine Dawson, but you did make several ranks into Boy Scouts. How far did you get?
Do you know how far I got, or?
I think you made first class, either first class or star.
How do you know and not him?
I did make it to first class, but that was by sheer luck. Pretty much, I made it to first class. I will say on a scale on a scale of like
you could do it. You could do it just by being in Boy Scouts for a year. You don't got to do much.
Well, I was in Boy Scouts for 5 years, and so I made it to first class. Oh man! Wow! But I want to say you guys, on a scale of good Boy Scout to really bad Boy Scout to shouldn't be allowed in Boy Scouts. I think I was really in the shouldn't be allowed in Boy Scouts section.
There's a lot of people on that list.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Quite a few people should be on that list.
I think my troop also was people that were just. Is that Mrs. Jerzak in the background? Tell her tell her to come in. Tell her to come in.
Dawson wants you to come in. What's up?
What do we have?
It's December 1st.
Oh, it's your advent calendar.
It's your advent calendar.
Oh,
It's Reese's.
It's a Reese's one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Mrs. Jerzak.
You're welcome.
Happy Advent Calendar Day.
Poor Brian.
She said poor Brian?
She said screw you, Brian.
She said fuck off, Brian.
I mean, all right.
It's a long history between Mrs.
Mom!
Jerzak and Brian. And Mrs. Jerzak just
There's a
hates
long
Brian.
feud between my mother and Brian.
Yeah.
Why did you say poor Brian?
Because the look on his face when I gave it to you, he looked like he wanted one. But I can't give it to
I
him
like
through
Reese's.
a computer.
I like Reese's. That is true.
Sorry.
All right.
But no, it's quite all right.
He said it's quite all right.
You can share it with him. There you go.
I get every other day. I get odd
How does
days.
this work?
So you
I
get
want the
today.
odd days.
Yeah,
You
I
get
have
today,
day
then.
number 1, obviously.
No, that's an odd day. You can't have it. You gotta wait till tomorrow.
So, you get 4 little pieces.
You get 4 pieces.
4 pieces.
It's
Right.
such a tease.
It's
Brian,
called
why are you sounding
portion
excited?
control.
So by the end of the month, you'll have
Man.
one full serving of Reese's Pieces.
Right. I did tell her that we were recording.
I see the recording sign on your door,
I did.
which you've
tell
never
her.
taken down, have you?
He's going
Boy,
to be
look.
so disappointed.
It's
Yeah,
from
Josh.
a Halloween.
Oh my goodness! Oh, did nobody come to the door or anything? It was just
We
like,
live in an apartment complex. Nobody ever comes.
oh, that's fair.
He's going to be so disappointed for the
if some
18
people start
days.
coming, you gotta start worrying.
How did they get in?
Yeah. Where did you come from? Do you even live in this apartment complex? No.
Yeah, it's not candy.
The rest is mine.
He's got like bloody
He's from
hands.
Gold Line.
It would be very odd if some random child that didn't live in the apartment complex came in, because there's the door that you have to be buzzed into to get in.
I would buzz random kids in.
Exactly.
Buzz random kids in. Well, you're a weird man.
Okay, well, okay. Now I
Yeah,
realize that
you
makes me sound like
shouldn't-
a weird
Yeah.
man.
This is gonna get cut.
No, I'm keeping that in there.
Yeah, I like kids in my apartment complex.
I
You're
saw
gonna have to cut that.
some kids
You're gonna have
walked.
to cut that.
Some kids on Halloween walked by my house, and I was like, I'm gonna go out there and bring them candy. Like they're not gonna come to my house. They were dressed up. They had costumes on. I was about to go outside to like take my candy, but then I realized I probably would have gone to jail.
Screaming.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you're not in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, back to Boy Scouts.
Okay, so Christ. Like I said, I told her that I was recording today. I was like, we're recording at 9:00, and we're doing it. Anyways, Boy Scouts. So, through our years of adventuring and doing Boy Scouts, I feel like we all have our fair share of stories. I feel like mine was kind of bland overall. I do have a couple stories that are like really cool. Like a couple of the stories at Sea Base. Sea Base was fun. So for those of you at home that don't know,
so jealous. Sea Base.
Sea Base is a island or a series of islands that the Boy Scouts of America, they literally own those islands. So you pay, it was like $1,000 or so to like go and do this, and there's only like a select number of your troop can go. I think there was like 13 of us or something. And you go fly down to Miami, Florida, and then you go to their like mainland location, and then you literally kayak to or you take a canoe. You take canoe and you row to the islands.
How
And
long is that trip?
It's like
Isn't it like a week or something?
No, I meant like the canoe trip itself.
Oh.
A week of just canoeing with waves coming in.
God.
I'm in the middle of the Atlantic now.
It was like half a day of canoeing.
Oh, that's so sick with all your stuff and
several hours. Yeah, and you could only take what you could carry.
Yeah,
you couldn't. So you just like carrying clothes. They did have like a supply of food already there.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to worry about food, but you did have to ration out that food throughout the week. So if you ate too much food and like you overcooked or something, like you're out of food. So, you canoed, and there was like the two canoes like were strapped together. The group of like 6-7 of you literally canoed out to the islands, and you stayed there, just a deserted island. There were no structures. There were no like buildings, anything. Like you were just there, and you survived there, and it was super cool. We went snorkeling during the day, and we did night snorkeling. We hunted for iguanas because apparently iguanas are not indigenous to the islands. So what they told us was, if you bring us an iguana, dead or alive, you get ice cream.
Whoa.
No way.
And then they said they're going to have a one-way trip to Cuba. Yeah, basically. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do like a 60-something mile toss to Cuba if you gave us an iguana. Which meant they literally just threw them into the ocean because iguanas can't swim.
You just just give them the iguana and like, here's your ice cream, and he just chucks the iguana into the ocean.
Yeet! And it's gone. We didn't find any iguanas.
This is going in my head, just like you just going up to the guy, just be like, here you go. Just hold it in your hand, and he goes, "Oh, hey, thanks, kid." He just walks over to just.
Yeah,
and then and you're like, "Oh, is he gonna swim over to Cuba?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, sure,
yeah,
gonna swim over to Cuba."
Yeah, so we went iguana hunting. We didn't find any, which we were kind of bummed out about. We literally
would have got your ass kicked.
We probably just a swarm of iguanas just surround us. But we literally found like branches and like whittled like to make spikes and stuff. And there was like 6 of us that were like, yeah, let's go iguana hunting. And, like we were like 15, 16-year-olds like going in.
Cluck, yeah. Ooh, caribou.
Yeah. So we did that. We like explored the island, and like they were like, just do whatever you want. Like if you want to go do this, like go do that. When like the boat comes to take you fishing, like you kind of have to do that. But like otherwise, in your free time, do whatever you want. We went kayaking.
So basically, your trip consisted of 16 hours of iguana hunting, and then whatever the other 8 hours were just doing sleeping.
Basically. Yeah.
No sleep.
Yeah.
We went shark fishing.
What?
Yeah, one of my buddies' nurse sharks came around, and we were on like platforms that were like pretty close to the island, but like far enough out where you could like still fish. And so we're fishing, and nurse sharks came swimming by the platform that we were floating on, and my buddy just straight up jumps on one of them and tries like wrestling a nurse shark, and we're like, what is happening? Because nurse sharks don't bite, and like if they do, they don't actually have teeth. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, it wasn't as
Jeez,
dangerous as it sounds, but
damn,
he still tried wrestling a nurse shark.
This kid is still a badass.
I was like, well, there's always one kid in the troop that'll do it.
Yeah,
there's always that one kid.
We went chum fishing, so whatever fishes we caught that like weren't nutritional and we couldn't use to cook dinner, because like we caught like flounder and like a bunch of other fish that we could like cook up, and that was our dinner for the night. Like we had to go and fish for our dinner for that night, and whatever like we caught that wasn't nutritional, we cut up and then threw it back out into the ocean behind the boat, and we caught like sharks, and a couple of my buddies caught sharks. I caught a barracuda, which is pretty dope.
Crap.
Yeah. Which they're gnarly looking things.
Yeah, I feel like
nasty.
They're wild.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
That thing fought too. Like I was again 15 years old, and I'm kind of skinny now. I was scrawny back then, and I'm wrestling this barracuda, and finally I managed to pull it up on board. But yeah, that was crazy. I think those are most of the highlights. We did see like meteor showers, and we saw like the ISS like fly by.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Is it just
down in Key West in the Largo Keys, you can like the night sky, like there's no pollution, so you see like the Milky Way, you see satellites, you see planets like super clearly and everything, and so like you could see the ISS fly by. I swear to God, there was a meteor that came down super close to the island. It was like a green streak that came down, and we heard the splash, but it was like so late at night, and like
holy,
it was like I think it was high tide then, and like we couldn't go out and get it, but like it was super close, just like landed right near us.
Nah, that's an alien. I wouldn't do it.
Crazy.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw this weird green man fall from the sky. I don't know what happened.
But yeah, those are just some of the adventures just from that trip. Yeah, that was the best trip.
Oh, that sounds like Boy Scout trip, like, you know, on steroids right there, like, compared to my Boy Scout trips. Like, that sounds so sick.
Yeah, it was. At the time, I was very bummed out because it happened during E-Week. So I was a CIT, and it was my first E-Week, and I only did Monday and Tuesday, and we had to leave and like catch the plane on Wednesday, so I couldn't do the full week of E-Week.
So worth it.
And at the time, I fell in love with E-Week, like within those 2 days, and I was so bummed out. Like I kind of didn't want to go on the Boy Scout trip.
Yeah.
But my mom still forced me. And now looking back, I am grateful that I went and did Sea Base, especially since Brian is very jealous of it.
You're just like rubbing it in?
Yeah, it's very funny.
I need to do Sea Base.
Okay. Well, then now.
Yeah, I never got to do Sea Base. Well, so pretty much how it goes in Boy Scouts is there's a couple like high adventure things that some people get lucky and get to do a whole bunch of high adventure stuff, but sometimes most people only tend to do like one kind of like bigger kind of like trip like that. So they have Sea Base. They have, what's the one out in
Virginia?
Well, the one in Virginia I went to They have a giant camp down there.
There's like 3
It's part of
Philmont.
a Philmont. Yeah, there you go.
There's Florida Sea Base, Northern
Yeah.
Tier High Adventure Base,
Yeah, that's up north.
Summit Betchel Reserve,
That's in Virginia.
and Philmont Scout Ranch.
That's the newer one.
Is that one in
Philmont's-
Nevada?
Yeah,
Philmont?
I think it's in
something out
Nevada.
there.
It's out in like
Philmont
the desert.
is New Mexico.
Ah, okay,
New
New Mexico.
Summit Betchel is West Virginia, and Northern Tier is in MN. What's MN?
Minnesota, I believe.
Is that Maine?
Minnesota.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe M.
Crap. We're so stupid.
Wait, I think MN is Minnesota. I'm almost positive MM is Minnesota.
Is that
Yeah, MN is Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
So yeah, I knew a couple people who did Philmont, but
Yeah,
that
same
sounds
here.
like it sucks.
There was
You have to
a
hike up a mountain. Like
I guess
a high
Sea Base
mountain.
sounds like a lot more fun than Philmont.
Sea
now.
Base was so
Seabase-
much
Seabase
more
definitely
laid
sounds
back.
like the best one.
Yeah.
in my opinion, out of it.
So which one
I
did you
just
do,
did
Brian?
No, I didn't go to either of those 3. I went down to Virginia. It was the first year they were having. We did I was able to fall on the 100-year anniversary, so we were able to go down to the Jamboree for the 100th year anniversary.
That's right. I
Which
remember
was
that being a
pretty-
huge deal.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
there was,
I
like,
didn't. I
40,000
wasn't able to
people
do
in
that.
total
Yeah, in your face, Josh.
that met up. It was.
I caught a
it
barracuda.
Was a really crazy amount of people.
And pinched a hermit crab to my nipple. So, who really won here?
Yeah, it's like now you and Brian are just having the competition
Yeah.
of who had the coolest trip.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I've not caught a barracuda.
How was the
But they,
jamboree? If you want to go into that,
Well. Yeah. So there was like 40,000 people there. Even like our troop was like a mix up of troops from Jersey.
Mhm.
So I bet you there was like random kids from some of your guys' troops, either in our troops or one of the other contingent troops from New Jersey. But
Well, I'm sorry if it was
there
my
was just
troop.
a whole bunch of it. We were repping Central Jersey, our troop. There was also a North. I think there was 2 coming from South part of Jersey. But yeah, and then like during the giant events they had, this huge giant stage, this huge like giant outdoor like concert arena, pretty much. And then like, on the lawn they broke everybody up by like different states and stuff like that. So like they like cheer. They were like, all right, like where's Texas at? And then like half the crowd's cheering, and you're like, whoa, okay. And then
they're all like,
where's the dude from
"Yeehaw!"
Hawaii? And there's like 20 dudes in the corner, like, oh.
Uh-oh. He froze for me. He freeze for you?
Yeah, I think he's coming back. There he is.
Hello,
Hello.
Yep.
am I back?
Yep.
Am I
Yes.
back? Am I back?
You good?
Sorry, the internet like went out and then came back in. Where did I leave off?
You left off when you were doing Hawaii.
Hawaii was cheering.
Oh yeah. They would be like, oh, like, where's Hawaii at? And there's like 20 dudes in the corner, like, whoa. And yeah,
Tell Sarah we said hi.
Yeah, tell her I said hi.
Sarah, you gonna say hi?
Hi.
Come be a guest
Sorry, I
tonight.
didn't realize I was in the background.
How could you?
It's no problem.
Yeah. it's
Now
not
I'm
fun.
pissed.
What?
No, okay. Shit. I mean, it's her house. She gets to walk around wherever she wants.
Yeah.
I'm glad
this
you
is
gave her permission.
This
now.
is her house.
Except
Yeah.
for right behind you. She's nope, not allowed!
No, it's not okay.
Can she hear us?
There you go.
Okay.
No.
Okay, good. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. What else? The place that they had for Jamboree was just so massive because everybody was out camped out there for 10 days, right? But they also like there needed to be space for 40,000 people to camp and like have their giant, set up giant kitchens, all that, this, that. And then everybody, like some people did like big, like kind of like crazy flagpole, crazy like lashings and like building like structures. And people would like make towers, like little like watchtowers, like by like their thing just because they could lash it and like
Because they could they climb up it like it was that
intense? Yeah. There were like I remember like seeing a couple of like these like crazy like people like it was like a giant windmill. Like
what?
It was really cool going around just walking by other people's campsites and everything like that. It was impossible to probably walk around near all of them, but there was just so much going on at all of them. And patch trading was a really big thing too, because every troop had their own patch. On the side there, we had a Jersey Shore one. It was a picture of Seaside Heights, like the boardwalk with like the Ferris wheel and everything like that.
That's sick.
We had that, dope. But this was also when Jersey Shore was like really popping on TV. So they're like, oh, like what kind of patches you guys got? We got Jersey Shore patches. We got Jersey Shore patches. And everybody kept coming up and like, yo, where's the Snooki patch at? That's like the situation. I'll trade you anything for that patch. And everybody thought they were really, really cool patches when we told them we had Jersey Shore patches, and then we showed it to them, and they're like, I don't want to trade you my Halo patch for that one. Like
they could have made it so cool.
Yeah, I have a whole box of them. I have some that like some of the designs of them were so crazy, were so awesome. They literally had buses. They had a whole bus system to get around this whole place.
That's insane.
There's like three different like color coded bus systems that went to different places and stuff like that. There was so much you had to pick and choose like what you actually wanted to do, because you weren't going to be able to do it all, unfortunately.
And that's so crazy because you had 10 days to be there and you couldn't physically do everything there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember seeing videos like promoting the 100-year anniversary, and it was just like, dude, that's the one trip that I was like, I got to go on that one. Like, that sounds so sick.
Yeah. It was cool because there's a bunch of people from my troop that went. So it was a bunch of my friends went. My dad was able to go.
Oh, that's sick.
Which was cool. Yeah, it was a real good group of people.
See, if I knew you were going to go, I probably would have actually gone, because I think I didn't go because I was like, well, no one from my troop is going to go, and I'm not going to know anyone there. So I was like, whatever.
That was like kind of like the whole big thing. My dad, being the scoutmaster, just like really hyped it up. He was just like, come on, we're all going to Jambo. So like there was a big presence from our troop that was there.
Yeah. If I knew that, I would have been so more likely to go. Which was
pretty cool.
See, that's the reason I didn't go, is because I knew Brian was going. So I was like, nah, I'll stay home.
You suck.
No, I'm kidding. It sounds like a really, that sounds like a killer trip. Now, my question is, was Jamboree, like that Jamboree, was it like a regular summer camp?
What was some of the other crazy stuff that happened there?
You probably need to repeat your question because he froze.
I fired my...
Oh, good. Oh, he's freezing up. Uh-oh. He's freezing up. Well, oh, there he goes. Hello, Brian?
Am I back again?
You're back again.
Dawson, would you like to repeat your question?
Yeah, sure.
Just not answer.
That's so
funny, actually.
Dawson asked the question, and you just went, "What other things happened at Jambo?"
Well, like, what was different about what's different about Jambo than it is like a regular summer camp, for example? Because they did summer camp at this site as well, too, right? I just got 1 second. Give me a second.
Yeah. But I think it technically was like a higher adventure site because they have crazy stuff there. Like they have a giant crazy like skate park. They have like
what?
Yeah, there's a skate park. There's like a golf course, dude. There's like literally every outdoor activity you could think of, BMX trails, ATV trails, like everything. It's just every outdoor activity. There's all the different lakes and stuff like that down
That's
there.
not
I
fair.
think a bunch of them are man-made lakes and stuff like that. It's all super crazy. If you if you Google the pictures of the place, just like Google like the summit and stuff like that. Just think about when you were a kid and you look at those pictures, you're just like, yeah, this is the place like that you want to like go to and everything. It was real crazy.
Dude, even now I look back and I'm just like, I wish I went.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's the place to go now.
Yeah, it was really cool. I
Plan a
fired
boys trip out there.
black out of rifles. That was a cool thing.
That also sounds like the Boy Scout. Dude, why did you guys had like, you just like came up with sick Boy Scout trips? And like, I camped in the backyard of Monroe High School for Thanksgiving. Like,
Actually, I think I've camped there too.
yeah, I mean, it's a good campsite, I guess. And they do the, what do they do there?
Oh man, I've been there.
They do an event there. It's like a big Boy Scout competition.
Oh, the Klondike.
The Klondike Derby.
Yes, oh
yeah.
my
Klondike
God.
Derby.
Yeah, they do that out there. And
I did the Klondike once when I was
so
a
much fun.
Cub Scout.
Good thing you only did it once, son.
Yeah, my troop was not heavy into it, which is so funny because we were like the Jamesburg troop.
which is
like-
right
You were
there.
from there.
Exactly. And
I
we
hate you
did not
guys
do a
then. What?
single jamboree.
It
Yeah,
really is
Klondike.
your backyard. I had like never been to those woods before, so I was like, "This is cool. This is new." The first time, but the 7 other times I went because we went every year. Let me explain to you what the Klondike Derby is. The
Please.
Klondike Derby is they wait until it is the absolute coldest point in the year.
It would always
They
take
wait
place in
until it's, like,
February, right?
February.
Yeah.
Yeah. February when it's the worst. If it snowed, they were like better.
Yeah, they were like,
hated
we're still doing it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't listen, when you have to shovel the ground to make a spot for your tent, shouldn't be camping. Like
yeah.
it's too cold then.
That
Yeah.
is so. The best thing about the Klondike was they made you.
So the
Go to a place where there
Klondike-
isn't
Oh, sorry.
ice outside. Like
Yeah, the Klondike, what a Klondike is a series of events. It was like a competition between
yeah.
troops, and you'd have to do like Boy Scout skills. So like when I went, we had to like cook an egg over like a fire or something like that.
Yeah, you have to make
You
a
had
you
to
have to make
pull a
quick fire
sled.
and do
You had to
cook
pull a
an egg.
sled like uphill. You
No,
had
no,
to.
no, that's-
You can't just glance over.
Yeah.
You can't just glance over that activity. I have to talk about that.
See,
one.
I didn't do
It's
that
the best
because
one.
it was
Literally
only
called-
me and one other person. So I never
Oh, of
like we
course you
physically could not do it.
That's the best event. Oh
Yo,
my god, that's the best
I
event.
hate
It was like Devil's
Oh.
Hill or something like
Yep.
that, right?
Devil's Canyon.
Yes,
Devil's
Devil's
Canyon,
Canyon. Yes.
Devil's Run, whatever you want to call it. It was just the most steep, horrible terrain.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot,
I remember
like, easily go up
watching.
it.
I remember
And then
watching troops
they just
do
go,
it.
They just go, we're gonna have your sled absolutely full of everything, and all 6 of you guys go down to the bottom, heave it up as fast as you can. Oh, and your time stops when the last person comes up. So if you got a slow kid in your group, you got no chance.
Yeah.
For us,
And then
they
you
made
had to
us-
take it. You had to lower it back down, right? You had to bring it up and then back down. But
That one
not only
sucked.
is the hill steep, but again, this is the dead of February, so you either are going against ice or the leaves have fallen and it's still slippery no matter what.
For us, we had to put they made us put 2 of our scouts in the sled and push it up. And that was ridiculous.
That's crazy. Yeah, they looked at us as like
Really
Cub
was.
Scouts, the 2 Cub Scouts, and they're like, "Yeah, you physically cannot do this. Like,
No.
it takes like a minimum of 6 people. Like, you can't."
the sled
cannot
is
do this.
6 of you. Low. You can't do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So much
It was
fun.
like rope like knot tying, like all that.
Yeah, they did.
Like typical Boy Scout
like
kind of
first
stuff.
aid
Oh,
quizzes.
man.
Like they had like a quiz
First aid.
section where they quiz you
Oh.
on first aid, how to use a compass, like for Boy
There was-
Scout skills. They did like a quiz.
Wait, do you remember
we actually did pretty well on that. Me and my.
Do you remember just the straight up foot race with your sled in the parade field?
Yes.
You had to go all the ways down to the other side of the field, which was longer than a football field.
Yes.
Go around the cone and make it back.
Yes.
With your sled.
Which again, there was only me and this other kid as Weeblos. And so we're going against like these troops. And we actually didn't do too bad. We actually made pretty decent time.
Yeah, it's all about how you build your sled.
Yeah.
We had acquired some sleds from old like troop members or something like that, which was pretty cool because they were nice sleds. But still, because you needed to carry everything you needed for all of those events on the sled.
Yeah, and then you had to
the flag raising.
Yes, I was just gonna say you had to run to the end of it and then raise your flag and then run back.
You had to build the flag though before, so you had to carry around 8-foot poles on your sled though too. You just
it was the worst.
See, the reason why I like this event so much is my troop really only consisted of 7 people. We were a pretty small troop, and we were never able to like very good at doing anything. So our favorite thing to do was trash talk other troops. And so we would like be at the flag building, and we just put all our materials on the ground and start trash talking. And our scout leader's like, "Guys, can you just try?" We're like, "No, get out of here, you stinking troop 103! You guys suck!" And everyone was like, "Dude, shut up, 109!" And we're like, "Yeah, right. Like your flag sucks." And ours just on the ground.
You were from 103?
I was 109.
Oh, 109. Yeah, because there were a group of kids from 109 that were in our Jambo group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were way older. Like,
I think
these
I know
guys
who it
were
was.
like they were like 17. Like at the time they were going to Jambo, and I was like 14 or something going to Jambo.
Those are the kids that peed in my iced tea.
Yeah, dude, these have to be the same kids.
Yep.
Because you want to know why? They took a gym lock. They locked one of the assistant scoutmasters in his tent.
Yep.
And they spray painted "No fun allowed."
Yeah, that's my troop.
On the white side of the carport, like the giant on like a carport thing, like things we have like behind
the white tarp.
like the whole side, the whole side, like giant. Like they ruined it. They just spray painted red spray paint. No fun allowed.
Yeah,
don't know where they got spray paint from.
They brought it. They had to have brought it themselves. Like this is my troop right here. I love it,
dude. These were also like just like this. These kids were just jerks, but I don't know.
Your troop is a bunch of hoodlums.
They were,
they really were.
We almost weren't allowed back at Klondike because we got like apparently the older scouts got into a huge fight, but it wasn't really a fight.
This is those kids.
It was just the older scouts that
imagine getting kicked out of Klondike. How shitty of a person you have to be to get kicked out of Klondike.
And I was in 6th grade, so I was just like first year in scouts. These like 17-year-old kids, like they got into a fight when really they were just like trying to beat kids up. Like it was not a two-way thing. It was just them trying to beat. And when they were like, "You're not going to be allowed to be Klondike next year," and the kid's like, "Yeah, please, kick us out.
Do me a favor."
Oh man, I loved my troop, man.
I don't want to fucking come back.
Oh man, I can't believe they went to Jambo with them.
They were like funny though too. Sometimes though, like it was just like that. Always that like. Oh, I never wanted to do anything. Just always making fun of everything and stuff like that. Like we would just be when we went to Jambo, it was like 100 degrees every single day. They had a flag system there, which I thought we should almost do at like E-Week or whatever. It was like however hot it is, this is how much you're supposed to be drinking. And it was a black flag. Every single day we were down there, which means it was over 100 degrees, and you should like be killing a water bottle every hour, or you're gonna die of dehydration.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was crazy, but like I just remember like the one kid just like all the time, just like while we're sitting there like late at night, like when everybody's in their tents, everybody's trying to go to bed, just like Scoutmaster, I'm so sweaty. Just just like that kind of like annoying like all the time. Like some of it was funny, but oh man, those kids were just like reckless with everything they did.
Yeah.
I love it.
I had a couple kids in
Oh
my
my
troop
God.
like that. There was these two kids. I remember my first ever camping trip with my troop. And these kids, I had never met them before, did not know them prior to joining. The first camping trip, they go, and it was like a air, like we went to where the Hindenburg crashed. Can't remember the name of that place, but they're having like an aviation jamboree there. And so there was like a bunch of like pine trees that were like super tall. And these two kids climbed to the tippy top of them. And one of the scoutmasters they didn't like. And that scoutmaster was like, guys, get down from there. You're gonna get hurt. Get down from there. And both of them are just looking down there going, fuck you. What are you gonna do?
Come up here and get
like,
me.
what are you gonna do? Come get us?
Most childish
They're like,
thing
"Go
ever.
fuck yourself."
Oh, man.
It was so funny. They did not like that scoutmaster or their son, and they always made fun of both of them. It was so funny. They just did stupid crap. That was the same trip where me and we went and we were playing. There was like a clearing out in the woods behind our campsite, and so we found like these bones from a deer that had died. So one of my friends had the idea to dig a hole, put his arm in there. Oh, I should say, I almost forgot. When we did like a group like huddle for the jamboree, the people who work there told us, be careful playing in the fields because there may be landmines that have not gone off yet.
Why should you play in those fields?
I shit you not. Well, it wasn't in the fields that they were talking about. It was a clearing behind our campsite. But knowing that, my friend dug the hole, shoved his arm in there, and we used the bones to make it look like his arm blew off. Then we went, so someone had to go and run and get the scoutmasters. Guess who it was? It was me.
Oh.
So I run. I go. I wasn't supposed to get the scoutmasters. I was just supposed to get the patrol, like the patrol leader. Like one of the scouts always gets nominated.
Just another kid. Yeah.
Yes, basically another kid who's in charge of the troop. So I was supposed to go and run and get him. The scoutmasters overheard and followed in suit. And so I got the kid. We come to the clearing, and he thought it was kind of funny, and he was like, "Oh, you guys got me. All right, cool, thanks."
Yeah, all right, cool joke.
And then literally seconds later, the scoutmasters come, and they were furious. They were like, "This is the dumbest thing you kids have ever pulled. What if one of us got hurt while running?" And one of the scoutmasters was like, "What if Mr. D like hit a tree branch while running over?"
And they'd be like, "That's
They're
Mr. D's
so mad,
fault."
trying to blame everything on you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we like, I felt like crap because I was just supposed to get like one of the kids, and
This wasn't your joke.
no, I was just the messenger. I did not know it was gonna blow up like this.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. It was
no, it's funny.
It went from very funny to not funny real quick.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, we did some pretty stupid shit. We took one of the, so we went to the Battleship Massachusetts.
I love that trip. Is awesome.
I think I've told Brian this story.
Unfortunately, we cannot actually have Josh tell this story due to the fact that he incriminates himself multiple times throughout this anecdote. So we're going to go ahead and cut through this story here and go right to his next one, which is also it's incriminating, but slightly less incriminating. Enjoy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He did that.
That's insanity.
And then Lincoln Memorial. I've told you guys the Lincoln Memorial story, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know
Oh, yeah.
I've told Brian the Lincoln Memorial story. So me and my buddy Chuck, we went to the Lincoln Memorial for the trip. It was a trip in DC. And we're one of the older scouts. I think me and him were like one of the last older scouts. So we kind of like split off from the rest of the group and we're doing our own thing. And we noticed in the Lincoln Memorial to one side, there's a gift shop. And so we're like, well, if it's a memorial, usually they mirror like each side. So like if that's on that side, what's on the opposite side? So we go and there's an elevator. And then we take the elevator down. Apparently there's a museum there in the like once you take the elevator down, which is open to the public. But we found a door that was like flush with the wall and was painted over, like it was like part of the mural that was on the wall. So but the door, like it didn't have a doorknob. It just had like a deadlock.
So it was kind of like an exit only kind of thing. Like you can only go one way through that door, really.
Well, no, because you weren't supposed to enter there at all. It was a service door, apparently.
Okay, yeah.
But me and my buddy noticed it, and we were like, you think this is unlocked? So my buddy Chuck, he pulls on the deadlock, like the only thing you can grab on this door, and it cracks open. And we're like, oh,
That's it.
oh no. So we run up to find his dad. We take his cell phone to take pictures. And at first he's like, what do you need my cell phone for? So we show him the door and we show him that it's unlocked. And he goes, don't go in there. Like you're not supposed to be in there. Like, don't go in there. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So me and Chuck look at each other. We wait for him to go. And then we make sure nobody's around. And of course we go in. So we go in and we see what it looks like under the Lincoln Memorial, like underground. And there's just pillars going straight back. And it drops down at least 200 feet.
Oh, I remember you telling. Yeah.
And like it goes as far as the eye can see. Like I couldn't see like the end. So we take a couple pictures and we go up.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it was the most bizarre thing ever. It was like the whole like structural integrity of the Lincoln Memorial. So we go up, and I thought that was the end of this story. I go back for a 4-H trip, and I'm telling everybody on the bus on the ride there about what I saw in the Lincoln Memorial. Everyone's like, oh, okay, that's so cool. And some people are like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, that's what I saw. So we go, and while we're standing there, a tour guide comes, and he's like, yeah, I'll give you like a kind of like private tour, like for free. He works for like the national parks. So he was like, yeah, I'll give you like a tour for free. And he's like showing us around the Lincoln Memorial, giving us facts. And we go around back to see like the sunset behind the Lincoln Memorial. And he's like, one last thing before you guys go, I'll tell you about something that nobody has ever seen before. And everyone kind of looks at me, and I was kind of like, hold on, hear him out first, wait. And so he starts explaining literally word for word what I saw of like the pillars and everything. And like, it's apparently like a runoff when it rains. So like it doesn't like flood or whatever. And so he's explaining this, and everyone who heard this story is now laughing. And the dude is super confused because he's like, why are you laughing? Like, what? And so then I now have to sit there and explain to him
Hey, what's going on here, bro?
that I went down and saw what I saw.
That they left the door unlocked.
Yeah, that they left the door unlocked. And then he goes, "Oh, wow, you're pretty lucky." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a pretty cool sight." He goes, No. You don't understand. If anyone were to see you down there, they are trained to shoot on sight." I went, "What?" No. He was like, "Yeah, they're trained to shoot on sight. You're not supposed to go and see down there." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "Yeah, it was probably like the Verizon guy like didn't lock back up after he was like servicing down there."
That is insane.
Oh, okay. It was like, okay, I could have just died, but sure. Awesome.
He says they're trained to shoot on sight. All the kids look at you like,
yeah, like everyone kind of stopped laughing, and they're like, I was like, well, here I am. And then he goes, "But it was pretty cool to see, right?" Like, it was pretty cool to see, right? It was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Thank God, bullets flying at me.
you lived to tell the tale though, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was so funny because recently my mom was watching like a show of like memorials and like how they're built and this and that, and they got onto the topic of the Lincoln Memorial, and they were like, "Yes, and not many people have seen the underbelly of the Lincoln Memorial," and I was like, "Ha! I have."
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
They didn't go into details on the show. I was like, well, I could go into details all I want.
you should make a YouTube video and like show pictures and stuff.
Oh, I don't have any of the pictures.
And then get
It was
arrested.
on my
you'll get the
friend's
Secret Service at your door.
father's. It was my friend's father's like crappy flip phone.
Oh no,
Like it's gone.
that's upsetting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are just some of the crazy stories that I've been in with my troop. Almost getting shot.
Yeah, they're trained to shoot on
Almost
sight.
getting blown up.
Almost getting blown up. Yeah.
Two
So what about
times.
your stories? What about your stories, guys?
Brian, you ever play in any with any bombs or
Play any minefields?
go in strictly forbidden
No.
places?
No, but one of our assistant scoutmasters did one time. Down in, I think it was, maybe
And where?
Sandy Hook.
Okay.
I think we were down in Sandy Hook and we were camping down by the beach. There was this like, it's kind of like old school like style buildings. There were ruins. I think it's like an old fort or something like that. But it's all like unsafe structure, so you can't go there. There's all these signs that are like, "Don't go here, you'll literally be arrested," and stuff like that. And one of our assistant scoutmasters, where we're just like, it's like 5 o'clock at night, sunset. We're just like looking out, and like it's like way out in the distance, and we see someone like just like walking up out over there, like just like walking like this, like they're just like walking along like the second story, like along like the balcony kind of thing, this like giant long thing. And then all of a sudden a bunch of like army trucks like pull up and everything like that. And they start like, they shine lights on this dude, stuff like that. And all this commotion goes on, and like later we found out it was just one of our assistant scoutmasters. Like he finally comes back, my dad's like yelling at him and stuff like that. And he was just like, just on the phone, like walking around. I don't know. Like he said he just like told a couple jokes to the army guys, and they just like let him off.
No way. He's like just
Yeah. Hey, he's just like, oh, I just told him a couple funny jokes. Whatever. I'm not going to jail.
Oh my
that
god.
is insane.
Okay. Yeah, like literally, like there was like 2 Humvees that like rolled up. They got,
Machine
like, the
guns
lights,
ready to go.
like lights like on them and stuff like that.
I mean, that's probably like a very common thing though when you think about it. Like accidental, like I don't know, walking there.
There was a giant like 8-foot fence around it, but I guess there's got to be a gap somewhere.
yeah, right. Imagine you're on the phone just pacing around and you see a gap in
Just
this
like
giant fence.
digging a hole underneath.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me just hold on. I'll let me put you on hold. I have to hop this fence.
Yeah, I have to say I've never had Humvees pull up on me, so
Yeah, that was
It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible.
Lord.
I remember my troop, since, like I said, we only had 7 people at the time, really. We went to a camp, and one of the events, like for the final day of camp, was the Boy Scout Ironman. And it was 15 challenges of all these crazy challenges, like you have to pull this log on a rope for like, I don't know, 100 meters or so. It was like the dumbest things in the world. And one of them was actually an Ironman. Like you had to row a mile, like swim a couple of 100-meter or thousands of meters, and then you had to run a mile. Like, it was insane. But you would assign different scouts to different tasks. So I got 2 tasks, and it was the pudding eating contest and the knot tying. People. And so we didn't have enough. Exactly, we didn't have enough people. So we went ahead, and me and unnamed person, we were in charge of signing up the other scouts for the events. And so we had this guy in our troop who was relatively large, and of course we signed him up for the canoeing, the swimming, and the running. and man, I was up first. Like I went up first. I had to do pudding eating, and then I had to go and do the rope. And so we're sitting down, and they like, do you want vanilla pudding or chocolate pudding? And I want vanilla, of course, because for some reason I feel like it's just lighter and it's easier to eat. Everyone else went chocolate. I was like, you guys are idiots. I devoured my pudding. I kicked everyone's butt in, like, I don't know, they had still like 20 seconds left to go. So I went and started tying my knots. Mind you, I only know the square knot. And so there's 3 knots. There's the square knot, there's like the double hitch 380, and there's like the Jesus, I don't know, some crazy knots.
I know the square knot, and I only know the clove hitch.
Maybe it was a clove hitch, and then something else.
That's it. Those are the only knots.
Started with a B, I can't remember. But
bowline. That's a very common one.
Bowline, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I suck at knots. That was like the one thing I was garbage at. I could never remember knots.
That's why I signed up for that event.
I would go through, relearn every knot, and within a week, I'm like, how do you tie that again?
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's so hard to remember because it's like you can do this. What in your brain looks like the right thing, and something's wrong and it doesn't work. Like how the clove hitch or whatever, you're supposed to be able to move the knot around the rope and stuff. I don't know, some stuff, but it takes me forever to do these. Like everyone else finishes their knots.
People always think that knots are required for Boy Scouts. Like, there's so many times where like, oh, can you tie this, Josh? I'm like, no, I can't. And they're like, but you're a Boy Scout. You're an Eagle Scout. How do you? I was like, there were no requirements of doing knots in any of the Boy Scout stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not required whatsoever.
Well, the worst troop meetings.
We never had troop meetings about tying knots.
I hated those.
Yeah, I feel like everyone else had these like troop meetings of like tying knots and learning how to build fires. We literally would just like, I don't know, do the dumbest things, but
yeah, I think
like
my troop
you
would,
running the mile.
What's that?
Troop would
So never mind.
Okay. Josh, your turn.
My troop would always sign up kids that like we didn't like to do stuff that we didn't want to do. I remember when I first joined, there was this one kid. We camped behind Monroe High School, and the kid was crying because he was homesick. And we're like, dude, your mother's literally like right down the road. Shut up. He was like my age, so we were talking like 13 or something, and he like would not stop crying to the point where like we're trying to sleep, like. At first, like, we were all at the campfire, like, hanging out, hearing him cry in the distance. But now we're all trying to sleep.
Quiet cry, and then that's a full-out cry.
Yeah, and so now we're like, dude, shut up. We're like, good God, like, she's down the road, like, calm down. He always got homesick, and so he quit. He couldn't do Boy Scouts for, like, much longer.
Man.
So moving on, I personally get asked this question a lot. Well, not so more now, but back when I was active in Boy Scouts and I would talk to parents that were interested in both Boy Scouts and 4-H, parents would always ask me like what the difference is. And so I figured we could bring that up and I'll ask you guys what you feel the difference between Boy Scouts and 4-H is. Because they're very similar in some ways, but they're also very, very different.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
So for me, it was more so Boy Scouts does do some volunteering, but it's more outdoor and camping heavy. But 4-H does more so in the volunteering and not so much outdoorsy stuff. At least for our county, it wasn't more. We still like went and like, I don't want to say camp. We went into cabins and like stayed for like 3 days in cabins. Or like we got hands-on like work with like livestock and stuff. Not so much like how to survive in the outdoors, but more so like hands-on agriculture type things.
Yeah.
But it was 4-H is more so volunteerism heavy than Boy Scouts is. At least it was for my troop.
And is that something that you liked more? Or were you indifferent? It was just something that you noticed?
It was something I noticed. I love camping.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I would like to do more. Not right now because I hate the cold and I refuse to go camping in the cold. I never like doing cold campouts. They suck so much. So, but like when it gets warmer, then like I want to go on more hikes. I want to do more camping. Like that's something that I absolutely loved about Boy Scouts. Just like the secluded, like being secluded and just like enjoying the outdoors for what it is. I love that. But I also do love volunteering at just as much.
Yeah.
And so I got both of those from doing both organizations.
Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I came from like a pretty decent sized troop. We were pretty big. So we kind of did a lot of both, I feel like. I made a lot of friends in Boy Scouts. Made a lot of good friends that I'm glad I made. But I will say I'm not 100% still friends with a lot of those people today. That's probably for very different reasons. But I made a lot of friends in 4-H as well. But those seem to be the friends that have really, really stuck. Those are the people I call like my best friends and stuff like that. So all in all, for me, that is kind of like the biggest thing that I take out of the two of them. Is like the people that I met and everything. I met a lot of great people between both of them. I learned a lot from both. It was just kind of, it's like a different area of stuff that you're learning between Boy Scouts and 4-H, I say. I mean, like, so a lot of the leadership type stuff is similar, and the cooperation like based stuff is very similar. But I would say that 4-H was very definitely a little bit more community oriented. All in all, it would seem like every single event we were doing was, involved the community in some way. Definitely. So I agree with Josh on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I like how you said that like your friends that you've made in 4-H are friends that you still call your best friends today, and Boy Scouts is not really like that. Like, I wonder what about 4-H lends itself to forming closer friendships.
I feel like it's more of the like casualism of it. Like, it's just more casual. Like Boy Scouts, you're there in a uniform. It's more structured.
Yeah.
It's more like the meetings have an agenda, or at least they're supposed to. I don't know. I can't speak for all troops.
Man, I wish you guys could sit in one of my troop meetings.
Yeah, man.
But it was more structured, and it was, we have things to do And then our troop was always, if we have extra time, then we can play games.
Yeah.
There were some meetings where we didn't play games because we just ran out of time. For 4-H, it's here's our goal. As long as we reach it, I don't care how we make it. You can have fun along the way. And that's, I feel like, the difference. There's no so much structure in 4-H. It's just we want to obtain this goal of helping the community in this capacity. As long as we reach that, do whatever. Like there's no rules per se.
No, I agree with that. I think also the thing is, it's like, you wake up, whenever in Boy Scouts, like you get woken up by like we would get woken up by the bugle, and I would wake up and hate my life and hate everyone around me. You know what I mean? Like the person, like my tent mate, my cop mate, like, good morning, like, shut up. And he'd be like, yep, you too, buddy. And I'd be like, and then we would go to the meeting, line up in our lines, like, dude, I hate you so much. Like, yeah, I hate you too, bro. And in 4-H, it's like we go up and we wake each other up with like Bollywood music. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely different ballgame stuff.
Yeah, there were times where Boy Scouts felt more of a chore.
Yeah, definitely.
Than anything else. And with 4-H, it just doesn't feel that way. Like, it's just...
was the Scoutmaster. Every meeting was a chore.
Yeah. Oh, we took it hard on you, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit sucked.
But
it was an extra, like, 2 hours of work before and after every, like, meeting and, like, shit like that.
That is rough. Yeah, for us, for Boy Scouts, before every meeting, we'd, like, sometimes watch a movie, and the Scoutmaster would, like... The Scoutmaster, his wife would come and like, well, I don't want you guys to choose any movies with boobies in it. And we're like, okay, no movies with boobies, I promise. And then, like, the mom would leave and unnamed person pull out, like, this movie has boobies in it. And we're like, let's put it in.
So, my follow-up question to you guys, now that we have differentiated between, what Boy Scouts is and what 4-H is to each of us, which... out of the two organizations do you prefer, I guess is the opportune word here? Brian?
Brian says 4-H. Quick answer.
Dawson, what about you?
4-H, for sure. I'm with Brian on that one.
Yeah, I'm 3.
So wait, what's your reasoning? Brian has to answer it so quick.
Brian, I feel
episode is brought to you by 4-H, yeah.
Brian, why do you prefer 4-H over Boy Scouts?
I just had a lot more fun.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, it was just as a whole, which did I enjoy more? 4-H kind of beats that one.
Yeah, 100%. There were many times where Boy Scouts had its highs and then had its very lows, where there were many points where it's like, I don't want to do this, I want to quit. And the only reason why I stayed was because my mom forced me.
Tuesday evening.
Yeah. Now, I want to preface this with, I am very grateful with what Boy Scouts have given me. I have my current job. Dawson, shut up. I have
Dawson's
my current...
like, what did I learn?
I gained nothing. But I took a lot from Boy Scouts. It definitely getting Eagle was it allowed me to have the job that I have now and my previous job. Both jobs hired me because I had Eagle Scout on my resume. And a lot of the leadership skills that I gained through Boy Scouts, I have now been able to transfer into 4-H that I'm currently involved in, which then says something of why I love 4-H, that I'm still in 4-H and I'm not still active in Boy Scouts. Like, I've just gained so much more from 4-H than I have from Boy Scouts. That, to me, I feel like I can put more into 4-H and see a greater payoff into making a difference in the world than I see myself doing in Boy Scouts. So that's why I enjoy 4-H more. And making lifelong friends that I wouldn't trade for the world is definitely a plus.
Yeah. And what I'm about to say right now will get cut out of the podcast probably, but there's also girls in 4-H.
Yeah.
And I think 90% of the romantic relationships I've had in my life have been from 4-H. So, Brian, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing. You're right.
Yeah, your
nothing
track
other
record,
than you're right.
Your track record is more so 4-H than
Impeccable.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Oh, definitely a lot more than Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
But there were still some in Boy Scouts, so I remember that.
Dude, at Boy Scout camp, there was one girl. I mean, there was a couple of girl workers, but they were all like older. There was one girl worker that was like 18.
You're always foreign.
And everyone wanted it. What's up? Wait, what?
No, Brian said they're all foreign.
Oh no, this girl
Yes.
wasn't. Wait, what?
Visas.
This girl was not.
Oh, at my camp.
I wish.
Other camps, yeah.
At my camp, it was always the lifeguards. The lifeguards were always from Russia.
You lucky son of a.
Yes, and like we were prepubescent teenagers, and we were like, "Guess I'm going to the pool today."
Dude, I would never leave the pool. My scoutmaster was like, Dawson, you gotta have dinner at some point. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I like the pool.
I would go and drown.
You're like 3-foot water.
Yeah,
I need
you're
help.
in the shallow end, and you're like,
I need help, but you must take off your bikini. And she's like, for Mother Russia, I do it. Yes.
Mother Russia.
Oh man. Oh.
But yeah, totally 4-H over.
Yes.
But again, I did gain a lot from Boy Scouts. I don't want to undermine that. It is a great program. It could use some work, troop leader wise via.
Well, what do you mean?
Don't pay attention to the commercials on TV.
Yeah. That's one of my things. I guess we could cut this from the podcast also.
No, keep it. No matter what you say.
Sure.
Right now, matter what you say.
I feel like this is not a hot take.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I guess, I don't even think it's controversial. I think girls should be allowed in Boy Scouts, right? Because Girl Scouts, like my sisters were Girl Scouts, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts is not the same experience at all. Yeah. So if girls want to go camping, by all means go camping.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't think girls should be allowed in Boy Scouts until the Boy Scouts of America fix the problem that they're having with troop leaders.
100%.
Because if these troop leaders are molesting young boys, what's stopping them from molesting young girls? Like, it's got to be even worse, if not like the same. Like, I think that should be addressed first and taken care of above all else before you start worrying about whether girls should be allowed in Boy Scouts or not, which again, they should.
Yes.
I definitely think there's a place for them because it might have been a little different, you guys, but like thinking back, man, most of the leaders, the board members, stuff like that, they were all like a lot of them were like a lot of people's moms. You know what I mean? There was a huge presence of female leaders there.
Leaders. So why is there a rule against female scouts? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I totally agree. It just
don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it should be allowed, but they need to address the scoutmaster, the scout leaders' problems first, and need to get that under control because that is a huge problem that is plaguing the Boy Scouts of America, which luckily I didn't deal with.
Yeah, me either. My scoutmaster was my dad.
That would be.
Oh man! Ow.
That would be an extra layer of problems. That's
Oh,
one
God.
hell of a therapy session. All right. Well, I think that is the end of the podcast. Thank you all for joining Ask Jawson. You can watch this podcast on YouTube at Ask Jawson. You can also listen to this podcast on Spotify, on
now.
Apple Podcasts, Tidal, Spotify, any other places you listen to your podcasts. You can probably listen to it there. Please listen to us. You're already listening. If you're listening to this outro, you're already listening to us. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Brian for joining us. Thank you,
Yes,
Brian.
thank
Really
you, Brian,
appreciate
for
it.
joining us.
Happy to be
And
here.
if you guys have any questions for us, this is Ask Jawson. We're here to answer your questions that you send us. Please send it to askjawson@gmail.com. And Brian, do you have any final words?
Yeah, I got a question to end this off with. Hey, Josh,
What?
why you look like that?